Okay, so moving on into multi-step equations, because multi-step equations involves at least three, four, or more steps, it can start to get confusing on what step to take first and whatnot. So what I did is I created you guys a solving equations flowchart that you'll be able to use for a little bit. No, you will not be able to use this on the test, but it will at least help you get the steps down in the correct order for the time being. And I'm going to keep this open for a little bit, just until I feel like, hopefully by um until I feel like you guys would get the hang of it. So these are going to be pages 14 and 15. The flow the flow chart is going to be page 14. The notes are going to be page 15. Okay, and I'll go through those steps with you first few times. That way you kind of know how it goes. Hopefully you guys already know how to use a flow chart, but in case you don't. All right, so it says label each part of the equation on the right. Explain how to recognize when an equation is solved. Okay, well, we've labeled these parts over and over and over again. Okay, whenever you have two groups of numbers that are split up, each group of numbers is called a what? A term. So these are all terms right here. So we have three terms. They're split by a plus, minus sign. It can now, since we are solving equations, be split by an equal sign. Okay. The letter, called a variable. Number in front of that letter, coefficient. And number without is our constant. Now, technically, this -8 is also a constant, but that's not one that we end up moving. So I don't want to get in the habit of labeling that one. Okay. How do we know when it is solved? We know when an equation is solved when the letter is by itself, when x is isolated. Okay. So solving equations, the goal when solving an equation, the goal is to isolate the variable, isolate the letter using inverse operations or opposite operations. Inverse operations or opposite operations. Now, um, this is going to be a combination of just everything that we have learned so far: one step, two step equations, combining like terms, and distributive properties. So it's going to be a lot. Okay. Whenever you are solving a multi-step equation, meaning three, four or more steps, the very first thing where you start is distribute. And you'll notice that over here on your flow chart. First thing is to distribute, then you combine like terms, move your variable, move your constant. Okay. So you'll be able to follow along that way. So first thing you want to do is distribute if necessary. You won't always have to, but that is what you do if there is a number in front of parentheses. Remember this. And distributing means to multiply. From there, you're going to combine any like terms. Once you distribute and you combine your like terms, then after that, it will turn it into a two-step equation. So just going back to two-step equation lesson, when you're working out a two-step equation, you want to add or subtract the constant before you multiply or divide the coefficient. Now, I will say that 95% of the time, the last step is going to be divide. Okay. Explain in your own words how you can verify your solution after solving the equation. How can you make sure that you did solve the equation correctly? You can always do that by plugging it back in, by substituting. Okay. you can plug your answer back into the original equation. Now, the flow chart, I will allow you to use it on a quiz. You will not be able to use it on a test, just FYI, okay? So, starting with number 1. You want to, as always, draw your line, label your left and your right side. Now, we have our letters here on the left side, so all of our numbers need to move over to the right side. 39 is already there. You're not going to move it. We're working with these numbers right here, okay? So if we're using our flow chart, we're starting right here, okay? Question number 1 is, do we have any parentheses? If we look at the left side of the equation, we don't. So we skip down to question 2. Question 2, do you have 3 or more terms on each side? Well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 terms on the left side. Don't underline them because I'm going to erase that. We have 4 terms on the left side, so that would be a yes. I'm going to go straight down to yes. If that is a yes, we have to combine like terms. Okay, now when we're combining like terms, it says same side, same sign. You're not going to change from plus to minus because we are combining. And since we have gotten used to changing this plus 5, oops. Why is it doing that? Okay. We got used to changing this plus 5 to a minus 5 to move it to the other side. It can be confusing whenever you're combining your like terms, okay? When you're combining like terms all on the same side, meaning this 5 is going to still stay on the left, you're not going to change the sign. Combining like terms, we're used to drawing what? Oh, let me do it in a pen. This is where we draw our boxes and our circles, okay? So let's do that. Box over here, circle, circle, okay? Now, we don't have all the space in the world to vertically align these, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this box and move it under the other box. So I'm going to take this plus 16x, write it under the 8x. And I should probably make that plus sign a little smaller so it does not look like a T. There. I'm going to take this minus 14, move it over here. Notice I didn't change from minus to plus. I did not change from plus to minus. That is because we're still working on the same side. 16 is still on the left side. 14 is still on the left side. You only change from plus to minus when you're going from left to the right. The rule is cross the line, change the sign. Don't cross the line, don't change the sign. So now we complete the step, clean it up. 8x plus 16x gives us 24x. 5 minus 14 gives us negative 9. And if you don't believe me, we have our calculator that I have to restart for some reason every single time I make a video. This may take several seconds to refresh. Yes, it always does, don't you? Okay. And this is the only way I could get a calculator that looks like yours on this video. So you're going to have to bear with me on that. 5 minus 14 gives us minus negative 9. So I'm just going to write it big. We didn't do anything with the 39, so I'm going to bring that down. All right, going back to our flow chart. All right, once we're done combining like terms, moving on. Question 3. Do you have letters on both sides? Well, I have a letter on the left, but I don't have one on the right. So that would be a no. Going down. Is there a constant? Yes, there is a constant. Between 24 and 9, 9 is the one that does not have a letter. So minus 9 changes to plus 9. It says here, lonely numbers added or subtracted from variable. Here it says do not change. Here, yes, you can change. Okay, so we said yes, move that constant. Yes, you can change from plus to minus or minus to plus. Up here, do not change from plus to minus or minus to plus. Okay, so We have been given permission to change from plus to minus in this step. Complete it, clean it up. 24x comes down. The 9's cancel out. 39 plus 9, I'm going to extend this line a little bit, is 48. Moving back over to my flow chart. Last question. Does the variable have a coefficient? Does it have a number in front of the letter? Yes. So what do? We divide it. So we divide by 24, divided by 24, and we get x equals 2. There you go. There is my first multi-step equation solved. Yes, there is a lot of steps. So get used to using this flow chart to let you at least get the hang of it before you try to fly solo, okay? Let me clear this out. How can I clear it? I think there was a way. Nope. There used to be a way. There you go. All right, here we go. Let's start. First thing, do we have parentheses this time? Yes, we do. So what do we need to do? Distribute first. I'm going to draw my line. Left, right. My numbers are going to go to the right. We start by distributing. What does it mean to distribute? To multiply. You multiply each term, and it does say each right here. So emphasis on the each. Negative 3 times 12. Negative 36x. Negative 3 times, remember, it's times, not times plus. Negative 3 times 9, negative 27. Bring down the 99. You want everything to be at the same level. That way you're not solving sideways. Okay? All right, what's the next step? Do you have 3 or more terms on each side? I only have 2 here, and I have 1 here. So do I have 3 or more? No. So we skip down. Do you have variables on both sides? That would also be a no because I only have a variable on the left. And believe it or not, that is coming soon. Is there a constant? Yes. Let's get rid of that constant. So minus 27 changes to plus 27. Complete. Clean it up. Negative 36x comes down. 99 plus 27. I guess we can go ahead and use this to let it make it go faster. 126. Okay, let's go back. There was a constant. We move that constant. Is next. Is there a variable in front of the coefficient? Yes. What do we do with it? Divide. Notice here it says do not change from plus to minus. Okay. So we divide by negative 36, divide by negative 36, and you get x equals. So we're going to take 126 divided by negative 36, and you get negative 3.5. Yes, it's okay to get a decimal answer. Okay, so you kind of understand how to use that flow chart. I'm going to leave it up. Well, actually, I'll leave the calculator up since you guys have it on paper in front of you, okay? Let me grab mine real quick. All right. Let's draw our line. Label our left and our right. Our letters on the left, so our numbers move to the right. Okay. Question 1, do we have parentheses? Yes. What do? Distribute. So negative 1 times 2x, negative 2x, negative 1 times 5, negative 5. Bring everything else down. Okay. Question 2, do you have 3 or more terms on each side? I have 3 terms on the left side, but only 1 on the right. But yes, 3 means yes. So what do? We combine like terms, boxes and circles. Okay. We have two circles in one box, so I'm just going to move this circle over. Bring down my box. Okay. Because that circle did not cross over this line, did not cross over the highlighted line, do not change the sign. And it says under combined like terms, do not change the sign. So 14 minus 5 gives us 9. Bring down 22. Next question. Do you have letters on both sides on question 3? No, so we skip to question 4. Is there a constant? Yes. So we move the constant. Plus 9 changes to minus 9. Well, I guess I should bring it straight down. 22 minus 9 is 13. And the last step, divide. Do not change plus to minus, minus to plus when you divide. And this one, I'm just going to change it back to a fraction. So 13 divided by -2. I mean, back to a decimal. So -6.5. You can leave it as a fraction. Nothing wrong with that. But as a decimal, -6.5. Next. Letters on the left, so we move our numbers to the right. First step is to distribute if necessary. So 3.4 times x, 3.4x. 3.4 times 7 is 23.8. Everything else comes straight down. When you distribute, don't distribute to numbers that are outside of the parentheses. I don't know if I mentioned that. Anything outside, you do not multiply, okay? After that, we notice we have 1, 2, 3. That's too many. Okay, if it's more than 2, that's too many, okay? So we do our boxes and our circles. Box, circle, box. So this time we're going to combine our boxes. Because we are combining, we're not changing from plus to minus. Okay, 3.4 minus 2.1 is 1.3. Bring down your plus 23.8 and your 35.5 again. Yeah, sometimes it'll come down a few times before you actually do anything with it. So, all right, next step. We do not have letters on both sides, so we skip over. With multi-step equations, you're going to skip over question 3 every time. Question 4, is there a constant? Yes, so we change that constant. It does say yes, you do change from plus to minus. So minus 23.8. $35.5 minus 23.8 should give me 11.7. Weird numbers, weird numbers. Last step, 95% of the time, what do? We divide. Okay, so our answer, I'm just going to type it in as a fraction, 11.7, 1.3, x equals 9. Who would have thought that was going to be a whole number answer? All right, moving right along. One more straight practice question before we move on to star-like questions. Star examples. Okay. All right. We're going to go from the left to the right again. Okay. Do we see parentheses? Yes. So first step is to distribute. Negative 5 times 2, negative 10m. Negative 5 times negative 3, positive 15. Everything else that you don't multiply, meaning if it's not the number that's being distributed, or if it's not inside of the parentheses, you bring it down. So 19 comes down, plus 9 comes down, and 36 comes down. Okay. Question 2, do we have 3? If it's more than 2, it's too many. So yes, we have 4 on this side, on the left side. So we have to do our circles and our boxes. Box, circle, box. All right, I'm going to move my circle that way and my box this way. When we're just shifting, we do not change. When we're combining, we do not change plus to minus. It's not crossing the line. Do not cross the line. Do not change the sign. Got it? 19 plus 15, 34. 9 minus 10, minus 1m. 36 comes down. Question 4, is there a constant? Yeah, 34 is my constant. Don't try to add it because this minus belongs to the 1. 34 is positive, meaning there's a plus sign in front of it. Plus changes to minus. 36 minus 34 is 2. Last step is to divide. So we get m equals negative 2. Number 6. Determine if negative 6 is the solution to the following equation. Explain. You can do this one of two ways. You can either solve the equation, see if it gives you a negative 6, but a faster way is when they give you an option, because they are giving us the option of negative 6, and the only thing we have to do is say yes or no. It is a solution. Yes, it's an answer. No, it's not an answer. What we're going to do is we're going to plug it right back in. And we plug it right back in where we see the x. So we're going to replace the x with a negative 6. Anytime you substitute, you want to use parentheses. So yeah, you will have double parentheses in here. So instead of an x, I'm going to put my negative 6. Everything else stays the same. Now, the good news about this is, I'm going to separate my sides. The good news is you have a calculator. So what do you think you can do with all of this? Type it in exactly the way it is written. So 8 parentheses 0.25 parentheses negative 6 plus 5 parentheses again minus 25. You push enter and you get 3. Is 3 equal to the number 3? That is a true statement. So that means yes. Yes, negative 6 is the solution. It is the answer to our problem. Much faster when you actually have an answer to plug in instead of looking for the answer, right? Number 7. Number 7 is going to be a very popular way of this type of question being asked on the STAR test. Which value of n would make the equation true? In other words, what is the answer? What would the answer be? Meaning we got to work it out. So let's do that. Let me change color since it's so close to each other. What is the first step? Distribute. Magic, -1 in there. -1 times 1, -1 n. -1 times 21, -21. Be careful with your, bring everything else down. Be careful with your multiplication rules. All right, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 terms on the left side. That means something must be combined. Circles and boxes. Box, circle, box. Okay. This time, instead of moving stuff around, I'm just going to combine. 3.5, I'm going to type that in, minus 21. So minus 21. Okay. Now, if I try to type in -1, it won't, notice it won't let me. So that means if I'm starting off with that symbol, it has to be a negative. -1 minus 4, -5. Okay. Question 4. We're skipping question 3 today. It's question 4. Is there a constant? Yes. The -17.5 minus changes to a plus. Bring down the -5n, -45 plus 17.5, -27.5. Just in case. Looks like I made a mistake on my notes, so now I don't trust myself. Yeah, okay. Last step, we divide. So we get n equals 27.5 divided by -5, 5.5. Okay. Number 8. It says the area of a rectangle shown is 99 inches squared. Okay. The area is 99 inches squared. It says write an equation to represent the situation. Okay, well, what do we know about area? How do we find the area? We multiply base times height. So let's see. Let's do it this way. First, we write the formula for area. Base times, oops. Come on. Makes me get the eraser. Okay. So it says the area is 99. I'm going to replace the area with the number 99. The base of this is 8x plus 2. The height is 5.5. Okay. Now it says write the equation. So 99 equals 8x plus 2 times 5.5. We're just going to do it this way. Base times height. Okay. Now, what is the value of x? What is the value of x? Meaning solve it. Okay. Now, even though, so we're just going to do this. We're going to do this, label our left and our right. This time we notice that our letters on the right, so we have to move numbers over to the left. Now, this one has 2 terms, but this one's just 1. So we're actually going to take this 5.5 and we're going to distribute backwards. And that is okay. Okay. So 5.5, let's start with 5.5 times 8x. 5.5 times 8x, 5.5 times 8, 44. And then 5.5 times 2, is 11. Bring down the 99. We have a constant, so start with that constant, plus changes to minus. Gotta draw this line a little longer. And the last step, 9 out of 10 times is going to be to divide, but don't change the sign. So what do we get for x? We get 2. The value of x equals 2. Now it says, what are the dimensions of the rectangle? What are the dimensions? Well, we already know that this side, the width is the shorter side. The width is 5.5. Now, in order to find the length, I need this number right here, this x equals 2, and I need to plug it back in. So in order to do that, we would take x, replace it with a 2. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 plus 2 is 18. So the length is 18. Number 9. Ava bought some popcorn, candy, and a drink to the movies. Let me make this larger. Oh. Give me back my, let me close that out. Okay. How can I want this to move up. Go away. Okay. Ava bought some popcorn, candy, and a drink to the movies. You guys can use your calculator, okay? The popcorn cost 3 times as much as the candy, and the drink was twice as much as the candy. Ava spent a total of $10.50. First, you want to write an equation to represent the situation. Let C represent the cost of the candy. So they're giving us the starting variable, okay? They're giving us a starting variable. We purchased popcorn, candy, and a drink. Okay. It says the popcorn costs 3 times as much as the candy. As much as the candy. So 3 times the candy. The drink was twice as much as the candy. And candy is obviously just candy, right? Now, it says the total of it was $10.50. So let's do that. Let's add it up. To find the total, you add everything up. We get $10.50. It says find the value of D. So they don't want us to find the value of the candy. They want us to find the value of the drink. Okay, so that means we're going to add everything up. 3C, 1C, everything is a C. So 3 plus 1 is 4, 5, 6. We divide by 6. And we figure out that the cost of the candy, $10.50 divided by 6 is $1.75. But we know that the drink costs 2 times that amount. So 175 times 2. Ooh, my notes are wrong. Oh no. Said find the value of D. Well, B and C go together, I guess, because it said how much did Ava's drink cost? Well, the drink is 2 times candy. So we're going to find the drink. We're going to take 2 times the amount of the candy, which is 175. And that means that the drink cost $3.50. Last one, the perimeter of an equilateral. What do we know about equilateral triangles? That all sides are equal. Is 157.5. Write an equation. Well, to represent the situation. Perimeter means to do what? Add all the sides. But if all the sides are equal, what can we do? We just say that the perimeter is 3 times one of the sides. That's an S. Okay. Now it tells us that the perimeter is 157. So we're just going to take this 3 and multiply it by 4.5 x minus 1.5. And there's our equation. Okay. Now find the value of x, aka solve it. Okay. So to solve this, we distribute. Three times 4.5. Three times negative 1.5. We have a constant, so minus changes to plus. $157.5 plus 4.5 gives us 162. And the last step is to divide. So we end up with x by itself. And 162 divided by 13.5 is 12. So x equals 12. Feel free, I know this one was a long one, a lot of steps involved and whatnot. Feel free to watch this one again. Like I said, you can always mess with the playback speed, the speed of the video if you need to watch it in a slower. Just work on that. Okay, and if you have any questions, let me know.